Some people are in your life for a reason. Some people are in your life for a season. And some people are in your life for a lifetime. The important thing is for you to realize which of these situations is applicable to your relationship and when it's time to move on from those reasoned and seasoned friends. What's up, all you good fellow fly guys? You know who it is, the cat in the hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michelangelo, StarArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to the social thing. And welcome to Social Intel Saturdays. Yo, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to redesign your frame of mind when it comes to the social thing. And if you find the information beneficial, please consider subscribing. If you've already subscribed, then you know there's only one thing left to do, and that is hit that notification bell, and that way you will be notified anytime new content comes out. Now today we're going to be wrapping up our conversation on seasons. Now I know that we were talking about the season of fall, and we're going to definitely continue that conversation when it comes to fall attire and all those other different types of things. But I wanted to set the context for how seasons actually change our mindset, they change our situations, and they even change our environments. But lastly, what they end up doing is changing our relationships. Now I know a lot of you guys don't necessarily think about that, but a lot of us, when it comes to friendships, usually have friendships out of circumstance. So what do I mean? Well, in real life, most people, as my homie said, don't really have real friends.
Friends, how many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on.
They have friends of circumstance. They have friends of situations. What typically happens, especially when we move into, our 20s and our 30s, is that we cultivate relationships out of necessity. So we make friends at our job. We may make friends at like a church or something like that. And we don't really share any common interest. We just hang out because they're close. They're in close proximity. So what's happened to me several times is coworkers will walk up to me and be like, "Hey Mike, we're friends, right? We're cool. Like, you're my guy. We're friends, right?" And I'll often say, did you schedule an appointment for an interview? I don't see a schedule for an appointment for an interview for this friendship, but we'll just do one right now. What do you feel like your qualifications are when it comes to being a great friend? Tell me about a time where you failed at friendship and how you recovered from it. And so tell me about your punctuality when it comes to showing up for your friends, and are you there on time? Oh, okay, yeah. We do annual or biannual checkups to see how we are progressing and whether or not you have certain improvements in order to be there. Are you okay with that? You're okay. Well, I do like your application, and we'll talk about potentially giving you a call to hire you on to this new wonderful position. And they're like, and that's because friendships are work. They require you to show up. They require for you to perform. They require you to be attentive and for you to figure out what your position or what your lane is within that situation. And so because of that, for me personally, I simply require more out of my friends. And that's the same thing when I'm cultivating friendships with other people. I make sure that I apply, that I see what those needs are, that I do checkups and follow-ups to make sure that they feel appreciated and respected. And that's because I want to make sure that we are better together. And if not, well then, yeah, I'm sorry, it doesn't look like you're going to meet the qualifications. So are we friends? Nah. Now here's the thing when it comes to friendships. I'm not saying that you can't find friends at your job or that you can't build and cultivate relationships in other social circles. That's what they're there for. What I'm saying is that for me, if I'm talking to a friend, then we should have mutual interests. We should have mutual perspectives. We should be able to challenge ourselves on things that we may not always agree with when it comes to those perspectives. But ultimately, we should be growing with our friendships. It shouldn't be the same thing over and over again. We shouldn't be having the same conversations. We should be challenging ourselves to be better. In a job, you wouldn't go in and say, I want to be at the same position for the next 10 to 15 years. You're looking to progress. You're looking to elevate. You're looking to expand your knowledge. And the same thing should be true in that space. So when it comes to your friends, Now, when it comes to your friends, to me, friendship should be very much intentional. And because of that, when you have friends who are not being intentional with you, then sometimes that just means that your season has passed. Sometimes your friends aren't able to grow with you, or they have no desire to grow with you. And so the relationship has become very, very stagnated. And you're doing the same things over and over. And listen, this is not a judgment or a moral thing. It's simply me just saying sometimes you just got to move on. So it's just important for them and for you to be self-aware and understanding whether or not this person is being beneficial to you. And a lot of guys don't want to recognize this or don't want to accept this because they believe that it is going to make them seem disloyal. And oftentimes, anytime I'm having this conversation with fellas, I do have to remind them that before they can be loyal to anybody else, they have to be loyal to themselves. So how do you let seasonal friends go? So the first thing that you have to remember when you are letting seasonal friends go, or you're transitioning into your next season, is that just because you are letting your friend go doesn't mean that you don't love them. In fact, all it means is that you love yourself more. There's so many guys and so many people really in the world who let other people and other relationships influence their life and their happiness. And then what that ends up doing is taking away power from you and happiness away from you. And so now you're living for somebody else. And that's not living. At that point, that's only existing. The second thing that you should do when you're transitioning out of your seasonal relationship is have a exit strategy. Yo, like I told you, these friendships are jobs. So just like you wouldn't go into a job and just quit, well, some of you guys actually would. Give your friends notice. So if you're moving to college, or you're moving to a different state, or you're moving to a different job, like, let your people know, like, listen, man, it's been great knowing you. It's been great building with you and all these other different types of things. However, I just don't feel like we're on the same trajectory. And, I wish you well. I hope that everything works out for you. And, we'll keep it moving. And again, a real friend who does care about you and sees that, you guys have had some issues that's really not going to ever change because you guys are just two different people, will actually appreciate and respect that. Now, if they start throwing temper tantrums or getting mad or calling you out your name or whatever, that's cool too. But that just kind of speaks to how they really felt about you when it came to your friendship. Like, they don't really care about your happiness. They only care about their own. So just make sure that you're letting them know, because you people who just ghost folks and just end up just abandoning them and just hopping out of their life, you guys, y'all are whack, and you need to do better. The last thing that you should do is move forward. And while this seems like a very simple statement, it's actually a very hard thing for a lot of people to do. When I'm talking about moving forward, you really can't move forward if you are always looking back, because you're never seeing what's in front of you. So after you have decided to cut these seasonal friends off or to move on, still loving them from afar, still appreciating all the things that they taught you, move forward. Look forward to the new relationships that you're going to cultivate, to the new experiences that you're going to have with these people. Don't go back to that situation, because I can guarantee you they are not going to benefit you at this point. Because you are aware of it, you're actually going to be working at a space of detriment. So how do you even know if you have seasonal friends? Well, in Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, and if you've never heard of it, definitely feel free to check it down in the description box, where I'll leave a link below. He talks about having 3-minute friends, 3-hour friends, and 3-day friends. And they're kind of all self-explanatory. So if you find yourself having a conversation for 3 minutes with a friend and it's really not going anywhere, or you guys are arguing, or you don't feel helped or challenged or developing, then it's probably time for you to bounce, because that's not really your friend. That's just somebody that you have consistent interaction with, and that's not what a friendship is, at least not to me. So if that's the case, then it's time for you to move on. Likewise, if you have a 3-hour friend and you guys just spend time playing video games, or you guys are only, talking about foolishness or stuff that's not really going to be beneficial to you, then it's time for you to bounce and keep it moving. Now, if those 3 hours are spent, hour and a half you're hanging out and spending time and dealing, but the other half you actually are having some in-depth conversations or growing or building together in any capacity, then that's definitely somebody that you want to transition and build and grow with. Now, of course, if you have somebody that you can spend 3 days with, not get tired from, grow with and develop, then you got a real one. And that's somebody that's probably going to remain in your life for a lifetime. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. And I would love to hear yours as well when it comes to seasonal friends, how to transition away from them, and how you are living now that you have gotten away from them. Feel free to leave me some of those comments in the comment box, letting me know if you did leave some toxic transitional relationships or seasonal friends, how that helped you. Because I'm sure that if it helped you, it'll probably help some other fellas in the community. And fellas, it's important to remember that even though we're not the most emotional, beings, that your friends you should be able to talk to when it comes to things other than sports or women. You should be able to talk about what you're dealing with and know that you have a support system that's going to help you get through it. So, as always, I appreciate you for taking some time with me. Don't forget that we are here every Monday through Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to live, love, and create. I'll see you next time. Peace.